Welcome to the OK Let's Learn podcast. This is two podcasts in one where we dive into great stories and books, and another one where we just dive into tons of different topics. My name is Kevin O'Keefe. So today, let's learn about March's top 20 moments. Yes, this is the third in our series of monthly episodes as we begin the new month of March. And here we are. We can listen to this year-round because it's very interesting when we think about certain months. What do we think about? And here in the United States, you're teaching elementary school, you're going through school. What do you think about? St. Patrick's Day. Whether you're Irish or not, it seems like everyone is Irish on that day, the 17th of March. You've got the Ides of March. Ooh. You've got Pi Day. You've got, again, if you're a sports fan, this is spring training. You're a fan of just everything. It's the spring. It's new life. It's hopefully snow disappearing. And yes, especially my adults out there, every year now it seems like it's a tradition going on 30 years. It's Read Across America. Why? Because Dr. Seuss was born in March. Usually a lot of elementary schools celebrate the whole week with the focus being on celebrating reading. So let's get into our top 20 moments. And just so you know, every moment that can be iconic, can be tragic, but these moments, I specifically pick these in terms of them being influential in history, being something that, again, we think of when we think of March. And there will be some surprises here, no doubt. So let's get started. Number 20, March 9th, 1454. In Florence, Italy, Amerigo Vespucci was born. He was an explorer and navigator. He sailed to the New World in the late 1400s and early 1500s. Why is he important? Well, it wasn't just that he traveled across the Atlantic. He recognized something that others hadn't. He concluded that this land that was being explored was not Asia, as Columbus believed, but it was an entirely new world. Because of his writings, the wide circulation of his letters, and the fact that he had a very influential map maker who was his friend, the continent of North America and South America was named after him. Are you kidding me? Not bad at all. And how about this one? What is the most written, most spoken word in the English language? What do you think? Okay. The first time it was written down was March 23rd, 1839. It appeared in print in the Boston Morning Post. Believe it or not, it began as this funny abbreviation for this misspelled phrase. All correct. O-L-L, correct. K-O-R-R-E-C-T. So it began as kind of like this newspaper joke, but it is the most recognized and spoken word, not just in the United States, but on our entire planet, throughout different languages and cultures. And it was born in March. And it's the beginning of my last name. And it's the first word in this podcast. Pretty cool, huh? Number 18, March 26, 1953. March 26, my wife's birthday. Talk about something that was influential and something that changed the course of human history. Jonas Salk announces the polio vaccine success. He basically proved that this vaccine was effective. Unfortunately, it terrorized families for decades. It had overwhelmed hospitals. It paralyzed children. If you're alive during this time, which I was not, you know the impact of what he did. It gave hope to families and kids. And this was interesting. When he was asked who owned the patent, he famously replied, "Could you patent the sun?" His vaccine, like I said, helped eliminate one of the most feared diseases of the entire 20th century. Number 17, March 19th, 1953, the first televised Academy Award ceremony in March. And yes, here in the United States, when you think of March, this time of year, millions of people sit down in front of the TV and watch this award show that gives out the awards for the best movies of the year. Number 16, March 2nd, 1962. About a month before I was born, sports world. When you think of accomplishments across all sports, one of the most famous accomplishments, definitely it's got to be in the top 10, was Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points. 100 points in one game. It stands out as just so amazing. The amazing part about it is that it's almost mythological because no video exists of this day. Basketball, it's so popular today, but back in the day, obviously at this time, it wasn't that popular. You had the Boston Celtics that were winning all the time. And yes, you had this unbelievable giant of a man, Wilt Chamberlain. So there's only one photograph, and it's an iconic photograph of Wilt holding up a handwritten 100 sign. More than 60 years later, it definitely remains one of the most unbelievable achievements in sports, no doubt. Number 15. 3.14, 314, Pi Day. We celebrate it in schools right through high schools here in this country. It represents this constant, like I said, 3.14. It's the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Though it's known and been known since ancient time, this kind of modern celebration began actually only recently in 1988. And it's really now a tribute to mathematics and curiosity and even to somebody else that we'll reference very soon. Number 14. Yes, the Girl Scouts. It was founded on March 12th, 1912. If you're a parent of children, you have children in your life, again, it's one of those rites of springtime. Sometimes you'll get the phone call, you'll get people knocking on your door, your neighbors. Yes, it occurs in February, but a lot of times people associate this time of year with the Girl Scouts because if you're not putting in the order, you're getting the delivery of the cookies. So this is Juliette Gordon Low on that date on March 12th, 1912. She founded this amazing organization, and really her vision, it cannot be overstated, was really bold for the time. It was all about empowering girls with leadership, outdoor skills, confidence, and servicing communities all across our country. Number 13, March 6th, 1475, Michelangelo was born in Italy, a sculptor, a painter, an architect, the iconic Renaissance giant of a man. From his statue of David to the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, his work defined an era. His artistry captured everything about physical beauty, emotion, and just had never been seen before or since. Talk about a giant of a man. Number 12, March 16th, 1802, West Point was founded. It became the training grounds for so many of America's military leaders from that time right through to today. The bottom line, if you want to service and help our country, you go to West Point. Number 11, we got two dates here, and it's all about Texas. March 2nd, 1836, Texas declares independence. And yes, 4 days later, March 6, 1836, the Alamo falls. March 1836 was pivotal. On the 2nd, Texas declared independence from Mexico, but like I said, 4 days later, the Alamo fell after a brutal siege. Though it was a defeat, a military defeat, remember the Alamo became a rallying cry that fueled the Texas Revolution. Definitely a future episode and such a fascinating part of American history. Number 10, March 14th, 1950. An interesting moment was that the FBI, they created their 10 most wanted list. It combines law enforcement and public awareness in a really unique, different, but effective way. It helped getting citizens out there to find, look for, and get these dangerous criminals. Back in the day, I distinctly remember you would go into the post office and right there, up on the bulletin board, you would see this list and you would see their pictures. It certainly made a big impact on a young me. And certainly as we go forward to today, you're not getting this via bulletin boards in a post office, of course, but with the spread of social media, obviously, there's many ways to get the word out there. Number 9, we talked about this before, but on March 2nd, 1904, Dr. Seuss was born. He was Theodore Geisel, and yes, he reshaped children's literature with the rhyming, the Cat in the Hat, the Green Eggs and Ham. It was all about the first introduction to an entire generation, and yes, that was me, that learned to read with the simple ability to rhyme words and the characters, the books. He was just so influential. Number 8, March 23rd, 1775. Patrick Henry gave his Give Me Liberty speech in Virginia. Give me liberty or give me death. It helped unite this revolutionary spirit in the American colonies. Such a big moment, such an amazing individual, definitely a future episode. Number 7, March 3rd, 1847, Alexander Graham Bell was born. He would later invent the telephone. Talk about an influential moment in the history of the world. A transformed communication forever. Number 6, March 5th, 1770. Yes, one of my most popular podcast episodes, the Boston Massacre. There were tensions between British soldiers and colonists, and it erupted into violence on that day. 5 colonists were killed, and this kind of intensified and brought forward all of this anti-British thoughts, feelings, and it just moved us closer and closer to the eventual day of the American Revolution. And you could argue, as I did in the beginning of the podcast, if this redcoat had paid his bill, or more correctly, if he had paid his bill for his wig on time, would this massacre, number 1, have happened? And number 2, would all the events still lead up to revolution? Probably, but it's a fascinating, unbelievable story. Top 5. No particular order. Yes, no particular order. This is one man's opinion, and as I've stated before, iconic moments are not always necessarily the best, because you have tragic moments that can be influential, that can change the world for not always good. So that's why we're going with, in no particular order, the top 5. The Ides of March, March 15th, 44, the year 44, Julius Caesar was assassinated in Rome. His death triggered the collapse of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. And yes, beware, the Ides of March still echoes to this day. March 21st, 2006. How about this one? I don't think a lot of people know this. And the jury is still out as to whether or not this will still be an influential moment. But we still have social media out there, and listen what happened on this date. Can you guess? The first tweet was sent. It was sent by Jack Dorsey, the owner, the one that started up Twitter. And what was his first tweet? Just setting up my Twitter. TWTTR. It began this obvious new era in communication. And it's X now, owned by Elon Musk. So the jury is still out, but talk about something that has been influential in our society throughout the world today. And again, something that was tragic, March 11th, 2020. I think all of us remember where we were when we heard that basically the entire world was shut down. COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic on this date by the World Health Organization. The entire world stopped. Schools closed, businesses shut down, people stayed at home, travel obviously was immediately eliminated. An entire generation now, here we are a short time after this, and a lot of people will point to absolutely this moment. We had known about this, but when the lockdown, the shutdown became a reality, it just stunned an entire world. I remember just being a big sports fan, it was Mark Cuban getting the word on his cell phone, just a regular game between his team, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Denver Nuggets, and just his unbelievable reaction when he's looking at his phone and he stands up and he goes over to the bench. And it was reality staring us in the face. And many of us lost loved ones or knew of people in their life that were lost to this horrible, horrible disease. So as you can imagine, this is certainly why I don't rank this top 5, in my opinion, influential moments. And here we are, the last 2. How about St. Patrick's Day, March 17th? St. Patrick, who is the patron saint of Ireland, is traditionally celebrated, like I said, March 17th. It's the day of his death in the year 461. Though he was likely born in the late 4th century, his legacy transformed Ireland through his Christian missionary work, and the 17th of March is celebrated worldwide with parades, music, and as they say, everyone is Irish and wears green on March 17th. And the last, most iconic moment in March in history, Albert Einstein was born. March 14th, 1879. His theory of relativity changed physics and our understanding of space and time. E equals mc squared became one of the most famous equations in history. Few minds, few brains, few people have altered humanity's understanding of the world around us, the universe, more than this man. And you talk about celebrating someone's birth. I think when most people are asked, who's the smartest person ever to live on this planet of ours? His name is going to be coming up more often than not. And finally, before I leave you, I have to mention, and I forgot, but I didn't. It's March Madness month. If you're a sports fan, again, in this country, it's all about college basketball and filling out those brackets. And yes, the average sports fan, I would argue, not interested in college basketball until this tournament, and then the entire country goes crazy. It is a tradition in March, and believe it or not, now it goes into April. But still, it's March Madness, and it's here in March. Friends, thanks for staying with me on this journey of the most important, iconic, influential, interesting moments in March. Reach out to me at kevmok21@gmail.com. Always enjoy a nice rating and a review on Apple Podcast or the podcast platform of your choice. And until next time, have fun and keep learning.